Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. I was just checking my microphone looked like it was acting up, but I think it's okay. Maybe I need the noise filter down. I don't know. Anyways, I'll mess with that later. So let's look at what we got here. I don't think we have any news today, but let's check that first. Oh, we have an FOMC member speaking at 9 o'clock. Oh, that's awful. Oh, this is going to be awful. Okay. Overnight action. Extremely range bound. So that certainly does not help. Okay. So there's the initial drive. About 1,000 orders selling. Nothing too big though. And the E-mini is up a little bit, so that's good. That's good. Well, they were up going into the close on Friday, weren't they? Yeah. They're kind of up a little bit on Friday too, so that's really good. Things are looking okay, folks. And I mean, the E-mini is recovered. We're basically where we were before we had those big drops, so... having the note at their high seems a little unjustified to me. Oops. Oops. There we go. Come on. Oh, hey, alligator's back. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Good deal. All right. Well, I mean, I don't know. This is a hard... I haven't taken like a trade like right at the open like this before, but I just really don't think that we should be here. Everything says to me, so I mean there is some pivots above us, right? So like the last pivot was 14. So I have I need to move my target one tick beyond that at least. Or I mean my risk one tick beyond that at least. But I mean it seems like the E-mini looks good. Don't see much of a reason for people to be too concerned. They are selling it. Honestly, it's not across the board though. Let's add back on our VWAP bands now that the data is all fixed. There we go. While we're at it, I'm gonna fix some of these other indicators. No, that's not what you want to see. Where was it? Oh. Okay, well, they ticked up. Okay. Well, they got to tick up. They barely got anybody to buy 14. And the delta went completely back the other way. Kind of interesting. Okay. I mean, we hardly got anybody to tick into 14. We tick down. We're hardly getting anybody to tick into 13.5. I don't see people ticking into 13 either. So it's not like they couldn't tick back up, but it certainly seems to me like we shouldn't be here. You also got to consider that we were at this 120 area for quite some time. So if we're able to get another tick down or two, I think we could hit our 110 target, or even down to 09.5, frankly. Although, given the context, I think it's best to just get 4. I think that even after 3 ticks down, so if we assume that that's 1 tick, 1, 2, 3, there might be trouble getting past that. Okay. So they did tick down, but there's a bit of holding it. Okay. Yeah. The 5 years not going. There we go. So it seems to me that some people are opening up some trades here. Just because, it's Monday and the delta in the 5 years just like flat to nothing through most of the morning session. And now we've just had about 4,000 contracts sell, much more significant than anything else that happened in the overnight. So I do think that it's likely that some people went long in the 5 year there. Fortunately, the 30 year is not dropping. PepsiCo to buy SodaStream for $3.2 billion. Well, there goes that stock. I remember when that one first became popular. It was super interesting. Wonder wonder what Pepsi will do with it, though. They're gonna ruin it. Funding was not secured for Tesla, huh? Okay. The 5 years close there. I think we should be able to hold this tick here. And 30-year. So what's it going to take to get this to flip? Laura Ingraham is mainstreaming white supremacy. That's fucking hilarious. She adopted like 3 kids from Africa, dude. Like, that's stupid. I should just not read the news, guys. It's just so dumb these days. Oh man, you drive in, huh? No, I don't drive in. This is just downstairs. Ready to kill a Monday. So are you saying that we're probably just gonna sit here and never get a ticket in our favor? I mean, I guess you could have gotten out at 12.5 and taken a tick, but man, you have to wonder. This right here in the 5-year was probably somebody taking a position. In my opinion, probably somebody taking a position. You gotta ignore this right here. This was all from Friday, right? So probably somebody taking a position. How long is it gonna take before he decides like it's not gonna happen? Okay, well this is getting a little closer. We might see a flip. Okay, so a bit of a flip in the 30. They're probably gonna dance back and forth a little bit. Yeah. I hate this game. You can kind of see some people reacting to it. Like a few orders went through, a little bit of level 2 changes. Okay, this goes back up to 700. Oh, right. Yeah, so the interesting thing, I was looking at some of my stats. Oh, that's not a very good uptick. Seeing a 4 there? Yeah, but usually my first hour is like my worst hour. According to my stats. So, yeah, me just taking a trade right here at the very beginning. I haven't done that in a while, but it just, I think that the reason why I was doing so poorly at the beginning was because so often we would open up right at the VWAP and you'd have nowhere you could really put risk, and I think that I was just taking shots in the dark. Today we opened up at the highs, and I mean, come on, you're opening up at the highs and they're not pushing up. That just seems like it should come down to me. But a 30-year is not giving up. You notice it took 2678 to tick up. So that's not quite that doesn't quite put us back on equal with the cumulative delta in the 10-year. But then when you look at the 5-year, it hasn't moved us up in cumulative delta at all. And not only that, but you got this huge, almost 5K bid here at 13, and only 14 buy orders have gone through at 13.5. So the 30-year may decide to push up again. I mean, look, there's a good bid there. Yeah, there they ticked up again. Wow, they really ticked up again in the 30-year. So that might stop us out. Yeah. Jack's like, if you know where to, I just sell more. Nah, I think when you get like, granted, it can totally be a trick sometimes, but when you get a tick up and there's like 4,000 on the bid there, and then of course they've ticked up again. That's something that can keep going. And at the very least, I think that I would want, if I was going to take another short, I would need to see us hit something, come back, and then see those kind of come away, you know. But that ZB is just not doing it. It's okay. When we took the trade, I think it looked like a good trade. Probably should have gotten out as soon as that big bid came up, but I kind of thought it was so slow it could be a trick, but it wasn't, so. My bad, but I made the choice. We set everything up to have the best chance for it, so it's okay. Well, we did get this guy in the 5-year to come out. Look at that big old bid at 04. Oh, baby. This big one right here. That's unusual. That's unusual. actually gave me -4. So, sucks. No. So, like, very often. So let's look at it from what it's doing right now. And I want to clear these because they're not really so significant anymore. So let's say that it came back down again to 14. Would I want to sell it, buy it, or sell it there at 14? Well, you've got 4 ticks down this way, and you got 4 ticks down this way. And if I'm looking to risk 2 and make 3 to 6, then how does that really make sense, right? Because at that point, we're in a range where it's quite likely to go back and forth within that 8 tick range or so quite a bit. So it doesn't make sense from a risk reward position to sell at 14. Okay? Well, that's just using what is traded today. When we look at what has traded over the whole week, well, there's one stop at 16, okay? So the way I look at it is you get a pivot, it's less likely to trade past the pivot, generally speaking. Of course, once they go through the pivot, then it turns into, well, now there's a pretty good chance that they'll trade all the way up to the next pivot. So I could take a short here at 15.5, right? In fact, based on what just happened, I think I want to. You see that black buying, it doesn't go. That's been a good one for me in the past. But like I said, if it goes through me here, if it goes through the 16 and it starts trading the 16.5, then at that point I know there's a pretty good chance that they're going to trade up to 18 as well. So I want to get out again. Then I'm wrong. It didn't pivot at 16. Yeah. So that's where I was just saying, like, it's, you know, you kind of have to see the spot that there's much less likely that it's going to trade through here. But like I said, that's just a short. So what about if you wanted to take it long? Because that's the real problem is that right now the trend is up. So if we're taking a short, then we're trading against the trend. So if we wanted to look for a long, you know, where's a place that you could take a long? Like, if we trade down here, there's a good chance they could trade all the way back to 120 and bounce off the VWAP and then be right back up here. So for a long, it doesn't really make sense to take a long here unless we get a few ticks back and then it pivots and we can use that pivot as our risk. The other question is how much fuel does this move up actually have? Because on one hand, the 30-year really acts like it wants to trend up, frankly. And, well, so it building up to 3,000 is not what you want to see. So I'm already not liking it. But yeah, the 30-year is acting like it's going for a trend day, and I'm like, how are you going to get that much fuel? But there's clearly something. Metal Slump says the 10-year Treasury has room to slide. Yoko? So they're saying basically that trade war and materials stuff can drive this higher, and the E-mini doesn't matter. Although if this continues, I think that the E-mini is going to come down.
Block by.
Yeah. Hmm. So this is probably like their last chance. Because somebody over here on the buy side seems awfully confident. Okay. Well, it did weaken there. Hmm. I mean, I should expect a lot of volume to trade through here, but I want to see that offer hold. And it's not doing it. Hmm. I don't know. This is kind of where I have a problem. Because we're taking a trade against the trend. But it's like I've seen it reverse in situations like this so many times. Seems like this is the trade that I should take, but it's not. There's a pretty big iceberg there. Hmm. There's quite a bit of volume going into the 30-year there. Well, now they're approaching that. It's too big of an iceberg threshold. Yep. That time they actually held. So, I mean, I did get the flip down. There is enough volume there at the 15.5 for it to unwind to go down 2 ticks. But you got a lot of liquidity still here. Especially at like 04 still. In ZB. Now it's the 5-year that doesn't want to go. See, now it's the offer that's weak. 30-year though. Hmm. 30-year tick down. There's definitely selling now. This is weak. They're not ticking yet. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. 30-year ticked back up. And look at the 5-year there. Five-year ticked up. It's not going to be able to hold it. I kind of wish they had been out on the iceberg because I'm seeing a situation where, given the proximity to the E-mini opening, this could just range here for a really long time. Pretty big iceberg there in the 30-year. They busted through the last one. Yeah. Well, there you go. So here at this point, I think that the trade is definitely a loss. The question is, should I just be buying into 16.5 right now? So last time I got stopped and I got, 17. I don't know. It used to be. Where did we have the original breakout at? 14.5. So I'm just thinking, in my previous, the way that I would used to do things, when I saw that big bid at 14.5, I would have bought 15. Okay, so now we're only like 3 ticks above it. So I would be like long 15 and looking for 17, and being frustrated that I'm never able to get 17. That would have been the situation that I would be in like 3 months ago. And I'd be seeing that big bid at 16 and thinking, okay, now I'm going to get the 17. And now I'm on the other side of this. I see how that signal is really, you're really kind of almost too late. Because we don't know if we're going to trade 17 or not. We can see, though, people lining up at 18, and now beyond 18 there's 21. What's going on with my cumulative delta and ZB here? Kind of funky, isn't it? There you go. So that bid firming up in the 30-year now. Offer is a little, or sorry, bid is a little bit weaker in the 10-year because we saw 21 trade into it. It's still 3K. So that, okay, here comes the E-mini. Yeah. I shouldn't have been in that trade. See, so this would be where I would like to do this, or maybe even hit into it. Yeah. You know, when I took them, the book had leveled out a little bit, but then it just comes back. You know what I mean? Look at that 30-year. Well, the E-minias did not just like sell off at the beginning. Okay, that bid got a little bit weaker in the 30-year. Yeah. Two takes down. E-mini is moving up. Okay. Would not have gotten filled at 15.5. That's curious. A little bit of stacking at 17 though. Hmm. Big iceberg there in the 5-year. So if we're taking a long, it really should have been 16. 16 and using this little pivot at 15 as our risk. So like right there. Okay. What are you getting, Phil? Not. We shouldn't count that. Yeah. Buyer's having a little trouble there. I don't know. That's a little unusual. Because the 5 years having trouble staying above 232? Okay. So it ticked up above 232, they all did. Oh, that 30 years getting some serious absorption at 08. Oof. But they ticked through it. I think it's about a year. Almost 2 years, actually. So that was it. So yeah, it should have been risk is 15, buy 16, looking to catch 17 after 18. I think that this very well could go past 18. Hmm. Okay. Well, I think that they might need a little bit more than that. Tyler might come through with a block buy again, but it's going to be... At the moment, it kind of looks close. And that size at 17 is getting super, super thick. So I want to see another tick up and see what happens. Okay. So it's getting even bigger. The E-mini is like right on the edge too. That must be why they're getting so excited. I don't know. This stuff that's going on at 17 makes me think that I want to reverse. Hmm. See, I mean, it's gone from 74 to 64, but it's not pulling, you know? Now they're stacking, they're setting up a level break. Okay, that's a level break right there set up. They can tick back up, please. Ooh, okay. Yep. I'm surprised nobody's buying 17 there. They absorbed 4,000 here earlier before, so there is definitely a level break situation set up here, and now they're pushing with over 4,500 contracts. Possibly could push to over 5. They're not selling it back down. But 5 years not quite where I want to see it. The 30 years doing the same thing though. And the E-mini is breaking down. So the only thing is the 5 year not catching the buy volume and not going bid at 23 3/4. Other than that, everything else looks like a buy to me. Perhaps it's a little bit too rosy. Looking a little better. E-mini just on the edge of another step down. Not ready to go. Somebody's holding it. Okay, that pulled a little bit. That thickened a little bit. There's an iceberg there in the 30-year. Whoa. They hit it, buyer immediately pushed it back up and bid 2,000. They absorbed 3, they bought 2, bid 2. Okay. Just pulled a little bit again. Man, I hate when the Vista keeps getting screwed up. Okay. Yeah, you get that line. Now 40 absorbed on the bid. I mean, that's a lot to be absorbed 1 tick below the high. That's a lot. So I continue to ask, why aren't more people buying 17? Poor risk reward, I guess. Why buy 17 when you can get filled at 16.5? It's just like a slow march down in the E-mini. See that? Yep. You're getting a lot of blue here. Okay. There you go. About to say ZN looking like it's gonna flip, but they flipped and immediately bought through it. They're not pulling away at 17.5. Although I think this imbalance in cumulative delta oops. That's not what I wanted. I want that one and I want that one. Like when it was at 16, you remember it went back and forth there a couple of times and kind of made it look like maybe they were going to start going for 15.5 as well. So it was a long, but it was an awfully tough one to take. Entered it with 13. But why did you buy at 13? I really want to know what it was that happened there at 13 that I missed. Oh, I take that back. I see why you would have done 13. I want to know more like when we were at like 12.5. Could I have known that it was going to do something? Because that's where I would have wanted to buy. Like risk wise was 12.5 at 13. It was kind of like, 13, it was kind of almost too obvious. Like, I was sitting in something and I was about to get stopped. No, actually, take that back. Where did I get short at? I definitely played that one wrong. See, okay, so I went short at 13. But I went short at 13 like the first time. Yeah, first time it went down 3 ticks. Then it came back. When it got back to 13, I should have broken even. And that's when it was like, started to become obvious that they were going to move up. That's when there was a huge bid and it was like, oh, what's going on here? Why are they acting like it's going to be a trend day? I don't know, this move up in Treasuries still kind of concerns me because, like, let's just ignore what the E-mini is doing right now because the E-mini could just be reacting to Treasuries, right? Like, if rates are coming up, the E-mini might like that, and so the E-mini might move up a little bit. Well, when we look at Treasuries, if we say the Treasuries are backing off because of problems with commodities, like copper, for instance, you know, that's a bad look. And you don't want to have like Treasuries moving up and the E-mini moving up when we're not in a QE environment, because then it's kind of like eventually the E-mini is going to run out of steam, and then it's really going to go down. Okay, well, nobody bought. They didn't decide to buy through 17.5, but there are people buying at 17. It's like, now that we've ticked up there, now you want to buy 17, huh? This has to be right here. I think part of what might be going on here in the 10 years is that people are just taking really short targets. You know, like the guys that got long at 16, they're maybe taking +3 at 17.5, so they're sitting there waiting for fills at 17.5. And they're just rotating in a lot. Well, there's this in the 30-year doesn't look too promising. If it ticked up, that would be great, but now this bit here in the 5-year, that I like that iceberg there, considering that the 5-year hasn't broken a new high yet. You know, when we bought up through there, it was kind of slow. They didn't really want to do it. They did it. We've been holding it. I kind of want to see something a little bit more impulsive for a move like this to end, you know?
Block sell.
Okay. Interesting. Well, when I see Tyler do something like that, that's often where I get out. Seeing him sell at 17 is really unusual. Seeing 7K absorbed at 17 is really, I'm not going to say unusual, but certainly a big number. Okay. Okay. Whoa. Really? Do you guys see that? Last time I saw that, that's what it was. Because it was a warning to the sellers. Like, back the fuck off because I have this much and I'm gonna buy all of it. And they sell it. Okay. Yes, did go lower there. Look at this. It feels to me like selling it here would just be extremely foolish. Which is maybe an indication that I should be selling it, but no thanks. I'm selling into that crazy bid wall. Okay, well, that tick down really equalized the book. So this volume short is the strongest selling that we've had all day. I'm tempted to do something and walk away for a bit. Well, now there's 10K at 16. I think that, obviously I walked away and it's like way too close to my time to really be taking trades, but I really wish I was long 16. So when you get over 10, there's a good chance that they go through it. For them to not go through it, that's pretty bullish. Although, this volume... I'm wondering. I really don't think I should take another trade. Because I missed the risk, the good risk, and you know it is like it is 8:30. But yeah, but it really feels like the seller is bitten off more than he can chew. Like a seller was when we were up here. That's 16.5 was where the buyer flashed 10K, right? So theory is that somebody that really wants to buy, and he's showing the seller that he's taking this up, and you better get out of the way. But then he didn't give up, and we take it down to here. So then the seller started to trying to take 16 and 15s, and there was like tons of absorption there. So now, like, you've got almost 10,000 contracts, more than 10,000 contracts, almost 15 to 20,000 contracts short in this area. If they tick up, I'm not saying that they will, but if they tick up and that buyer really is serious, you have a seller that has gotten himself in deep and has not realized it yet. And when he pukes, it is going to be ugly. price action itself is confused enough that we could still sell. I'd say I would prefer long, but you know, anything can happen. But that's just the risk reward, right? If we come down here, like if you bought 16, you know, maybe we go to 15. Then if we go to 15, maybe we could get between 14.5 and 13.5, you know. But then when you look on the upside, it's like, okay, we got 18. We know that one is a key, so there's 4, right? But then you've got this 21 sitting up here. And at that point, you kind of have to wonder if we actually would get it, because that is just one big buyer. Okay, well, 8:30, so let's at least generate the charts. Pull up Journalytics. When did I take this one? Almost right at 7 o'clock. So let's do this and then I'll post the chart and we can watch. So this one right here, well, the first one, okay. So the first one, I thought I did this. I don't think I reacted to the market behavior very well. Okay. So it was an okay entry. So yeah, I don't think that the original trade and what was going on was bad. It's just somebody was deciding to buy. They came in so much. No way that I could have known or predicted that. So I took a risk and I was wrong, and it's okay on that one. And now this one, I don't want to say that I didn't follow my plan, nor did I do this. And yeah, because I took it at 7 o'clock. Very poor fade. Right. And now this one, yeah, why sell at 10 if I can sell at $15 later? Well, exactly. That's exactly the question. That's the one thing that we were arguing about the other day. Remember that? It's like, if I want to buy right now, like I am just absolutely certain that it is going to go up. I know something or whatever. Why would I buy 17.5? Because I'm buying at the high, and maybe it comes back a little bit, and it's going to come against me. And why do I want to get that adverse tick when there's an okay chance of me getting filled at 17? They don't buy 17.5 until they've seen enough absorbed here at 17 that they know that if I got in again, I wouldn't get filled, right? So there's a good chance that at least 2,000 will sell into 17. Okay. So if 2,000 sell into 17, 3,000 sell into 17, and this holds, then at that point the buyers start thinking, oh, okay, well now I really want to buy, but I have a less of a chance of getting filled at 17 now, so maybe I should just market buy. And then it goes.
Block buy.
See? Now this Tyler guy is still buying. And the thing that frustrates me is that that last trade that we took was definitely correct, but they were just was holding it too much time risk. So, but I'm still kind of sitting here thinking with I got a long 16. I want to get out at 18 and then get out at 21. Why wait for someone to sell to me at 10, which might never happen if I'm sure it will go to 5 in the future? I'll sell at 9 instead. Yep. It's all these two inside prices, and whether or not they think that they're going to get filled. The time risk works both ways. I was short at 16.5 and bailed at break even after a half an hour. Yeah. See how well. Yeah, and that's the thing where it's annoying to me, because like okay, so the mistake I made. The mistake I made was, okay, here we had our initial drive, and then it was coming down here, and so I sold it at like the top of the hour here. I think I got the wrong price, but I sold it at the top of the hour. And then I sat in it for 30 minutes, and then only after about 30 minutes did it go higher. And I just know now, or I should know better, that 7 o'clock is a really bad time to initiate a trade. It just is. Doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, but especially when the market is being slow, that's a bad time to take a trade. It's better. Let the E-mini go. Wait 15 minutes. So now at 7:45, now maybe you can sell it. Maybe you got 2 ticks. Or you could have bought it here, which I think was the correct decision. And I'll explain why I think that is in a second. But then you could have bought 16, right? It's just, in this particular case, it took way too long. Maybe if I was trading until 9, I would have waited, and I would have actually bought 16 and could have actually gotten it. So why do I think it's long? Well, if I move this down a little bit, so you can see here's where they initiated the trade. That was the initial drive. And then after the initial drive, it came down. So all of that delta was down. That means people were market selling through this whole area, right? So when they market buy, what do? They go from 13 to 15 to 17 to 18. So that's, 4, 8, 12, almost 16 ticks moving up, that much delta. And then they sell it, and what did they get? At most 3 ticks. At most 3 ticks. Not to mention that somebody flashed a 10K there, which was super crazy. And this, I mean, it's subsided a little bit, but this strong bid just keeps coming back and pushing it. So I would have to say, just based on market theory, right? Oh, wait, let's read this comment. It can be just as good that someone buys, but also at that same time sell and collects his position on short. Anyone who thinks mile long, but then he turns the market in a 4-tick range. Yeah, sure. I mean, at any one price, you have to consider that if somebody bought 3,500, somebody also sold 3,500. Okay, somebody sold 15K there, which is quite a bit. But they also bought 15K there. Yeah, they're not able to get past 18.5. Probably this guy at 18 was probably a profit taker, right? But I think this target up here at 21 is kind of significant, so I would keep an eye on that. But anyways, I'm just saying, so when it's like 1 tick, like it's really hard to know. Like obviously there are situations that you can tell, and you're just kind of making an educated guess, and sometimes you're gonna get it wrong. But when it's over like the whole session, I mean that's just a straight auction thing. When we're auctioning up, they auction really well, and when we auction down, they don't auction very well at all. Now it's unusual for that much selling volume to come in, but now what kind of a situation do we have? We have, how much was it? 26,000 contracts short that are underwater right now. Now some of them have come off now. Most of it has come off, and a lot of that was probably all of the shorts getting stopped out at 18 and into the guy that pushed it up, I think. So anyways, so when I look at this, where did I make my mistakes? One, I took one, I don't know if this first one was a mistake, but I certainly should have gotten out. And when I saw a big bid like that, 4K, maybe I should have used that as a long signal. Not as a long signal to buy immediately there, but to start looking for a low risk entry. And we could have gotten, you know, I guess you could have gotten 14.5. You could have had it come back again and gotten it at 15 perhaps. And that would have been a good one. Okay. Then the second one was just a dumb trade, but it was all time based. So I think that today wasn't really very good for our strategy, even though we'd probably take it long. But that was the mistake. It was timing mostly. I don't know. Does that make sense? Do we all feel like agreed here? Or is there still a little bit of like, that wasn't the right spot, or that wasn't the right spot? Yeah. Just wish I hadn't made that first mistake. I mean, I think it was an okay one, but maybe I should have waited for something a little bit more significant than what I saw. Or, should have seen stuff happen immediately. I don't know. It's really hard to know when it's just like this whole thing of like it's not ticking. Do you just need to wait, or is it not going to happen? That I have a hard time with. Yeah. I don't know if Uzi ever took a trade. Yeah, well, I'm going to leave it going for a second because I got to post a chart. Okay, well, I feel like that if it wasn't summertime and it wasn't being so slow, that maybe that trade at 16 would have gone sooner and it would have worked out for us or something. But I think in that one it was just, the timing of it wasn't quite right, and so it didn't work. But even though we had the overall price and the direction correct. So it sucks, but you gotta get 3 things right, I think. Anyways, I'm yapping and I gotta go. So I will see you guys